So, welcome everyone. We've still got quite a few people to join who've registered, but I'm Sarah. I'm the team leader for Team Elevate. Tonight I've got the fantastic Jane who's giving me a hand for our little mini class and a bit of a, close-up look where you can ask some questions about the TM7 without actually having to host a cooking experience. So we're going to go through 2 dishes, potentially 3. We'll see how we go for time this evening that show some of the different features and that of the TM7. So if you've got any questions, please feel free to type them in the chat. We will have time at the end to come off mute and have a chat. So if you've got questions, we would love to know. So we're basically going to get started. Jane, do you want to start us off with your first dish?
Yeah, I am going to make a sweet and sour chicken and rice. So we're going to use the layering of the Thermomix to save us some time and to get some more food in. So I'm going to get started with that. I have already weighed my rice, but this is our simmering basket that we're going to put into our bowl. It locks into place there. And then I've got our basmati rice, which I have already washed and so that it's all rinsed already. Let me get that on cooking. This recipe uses our simmering basket to cook our rice and our aroma on top to do our veggies. But remember that the Thermomix also has a rice cooker mode that you can use at other times too. I've already done that. So I have then weighed my chicken. I've got 500 grams of chicken into a bowl there. And what I've done is just add a little 2 tablespoons of corn flour and some salt and pepper, and I've just coated that up. I'll show you that. And that's just going to set aside, waiting to cook. So let's get this on. I'll just take my simmering basket out. All I'm doing, and my scales automatically come up, you can see, is I'm putting in some water. And remember, you've got them measuring in increments inside your bowl too, of 1/2 litre, 1 litre, 1.5, 2, and the 2.2 max. So you could also, instead of having to have a jug with you, just take it over to the sink. Then it's got some salt, and it actually wants a stock paste. So this is a veggie stock paste that I make in my Thermomix using all my odds and ends. It's a great way to save money by not throwing out some of that produce, and it adds some great flavour to your dishes. It's not just for soups, you get to use it in lots of different things. So I've got those in. Let's put the simmering basket back in. And this is going to go on and cook for 6 minutes. Sarah, I think you're going to get started.
Yep, I certainly am. Let me just go. So I'm going to showcase some of the open cooking that comes with the Thermomix. So I'm going to cook a tomato and mushroom spaghetti. So first up, what it wants is just 2 cloves of garlic. So putting that in. It then wants us to chop those. So lid on. Registers the lid of your Thermomix being on, and then it just sets the time. The play button comes up, and then it chops. This comes up with a repeat button. So you literally just press the repeat, the play button comes up again, and then it chops again. Simple. So then there you can see all your beautiful finely chopped garlic. You don't need to do anything else to that. You just leave it alone. We are now going to add the rest of the ingredients. So it wants 25 grams of olive oil. One of the amazing things about the TM7 is that if your ingredient is very close to the weight of what it's asking for, it will automatically check itself off. Yes, please, Jane. It will automatically check itself off the list. So then I want 100 grams of bacon. So I've just got that cubed up. So that's just checked itself off. We've now got 140 grams of Swiss brown mushrooms. They're just sliced. So in we go. We've got 400 grams of tinned tomatoes. I like to use whole peeled tomatoes. You could use whatever you've got though. It's rare I actually have tinned tomatoes because normally I jar them myself and then keep them in the cupboard after I've put them through the Flavours unit. So it seems a bit random to actually have a tin of tomato for a change. It wants 450 grams of water. It wants a teaspoon of vegetable stock paste. I've just got chicken stock paste that I've made in the Thermomix. This stuff is liquid gold. Your consultant will always make stock with you when you invest in your Thermomix. Love for you to type in the chat if you've got one yet, who your consultant is. Otherwise, do you want a Thermomix? And do you need a consultant from our amazing team? So then it just wants a little bit of salt, some dried oregano and some chili flakes. So I've just got that there. I've got homegrown chilies that I have flaked up there. So now we're going to pop the lid on. And this is going to cook for 15 minutes for the first part of this. So Jane, want to go back across to you?
I've still got a couple of minutes, and sorry, I keep turning around to my screen because I'm still adapting to the fact that the TM7 is so quiet now. I forget that it's on some of the time. So my rice is still cooking. I am just getting my aroma ready. So one of the bonuses with the TM7, if you are a bigger household or if you just like to batch cook so that you can save yourself even more time during the week, is that the aroma capacity has increased. So it's up by 40%. So we still have our lid, we still have our tray, and we still have the base inside, but you can see it's a different shape for us and it is a much bigger capacity. So we are going to put that on top next, and I'm actually going to put some different veggies in. So we might get them out while we're waiting for that rice to finish off. And we'll lay it across. Hopefully you can kind of see on the side of my bench there. So I have in our vacuum seal containers that you can get from Mix Shop, because I had to do some of my prep before we had all our after school activities today. I'm trying to fill in the last 40 seconds so I can get my scales up, but we will. One of the reasons this dish is beautiful is it's like eating a rainbow. It's very cool. So we have 150 grams of carrots. I did use my cutter to do these. So can't wait for the accessories and things to come out to add to the TM7. It just makes things so nice, quick and easy. And who doesn't love saving some time? So we've got our carrots in the base. Can you hear our little song? That's you. So that's my rice that started. It's still going to stay in our simmering basket in our bowl. We've got our aroma dish on top there. I've put our carrots in, so I'm just going to tick it off. And then we are going to put in the rest of our veggies. I've stuck with the recipe on this, but remember, you can mix it up the way that works best for you and your household. So I've got some zucchini in here. I've got some yellow capsicum and I've got some red capsicum. Normally I'd put that all in nicely, but it's in.
Gave me the shoots. Okay.
So I've done our capsicum. I'm going to put the lid on and we're going to get steaming. This is now going to cook for 15 minutes. So we're going to have our rice in the bottom here. Look, I can even touch my bowl now. It's all insulated. So it's all safe for us to touch there on the TM7. We've got our rice cooking down the bottom and we've got our veggies layered up on the top. Who's using their aroma? Give themselves some more things.
Feel free to unmute yourself if you would.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Speak, or if you're struggling to find the chat. Sometimes when you're Zooming on your phone, it's quite difficult to see where to actually press to actually join the chat and things like that. Turmeric, yellow fingers, they keep catching me off guard. I'm like, oh, what is wrong with my hands? But turmeric, that's in our little treat dish coming up if we get enough time in. So with your Thermomix, what do you get at the moment? So as I said, I would love to see in the chat what model you've got. Marie, I know you're waiting for a TM7 to arrive at your house. So that's a bit exciting to get a bit of a look-see at some of the new features that it is going with. But you do get the Thermomix, you do get the Varoma, you do get the butterfly whisk, you do get your spatula. You obviously also get your simmering basket. The manifesto, which is the basic cookbook now, is built in automatically to your TM7. So it is there when you set your Thermomix up as part of that. If you don't have a Cookie Do subscription yet, you receive a 1-month free trial when you connect or create an account. But then when you connect your TM7 to your Cookie Do account, you will get a bonus 3 months as well. So you get 4 months to take advantage of the fabulous that is Cookie Do. It is over 100,000 recipes, so it's a massive global platform with recipes from all over the world, and it's also multiple languages. So if you can speak more than English, you are in for an absolute treat. So there's lots of options and lots of inspiration to be found in there. If you are struggling to get your way around Cookie Do, or you want a bit more inspiration, or you haven't created a Cookie Do account yet and you're wondering sort of what it is and how you go about creating an account, I always run for our team 2 Cookie Do sessions a month, and lucky for you lot, they haven't been held yet this month. So the first one is a daytime session and it is next Monday and it's 2 till 3. So it's just a 1-hour Zoom session where I share my Cookie Do screen and then I take you through how to meal plan, how to create your shopping lists, how to save things as favourites, how to create playlists, how to set up your profile, how you can import a recipe or create a recipe of your own, or even alter one of Fourworks recipes if you think you can make it better than they can. So there's lots of inspiration to be had there. Our second session is an evening session, and that is on for the following Monday, the 30th, and that is an 8 till 9 p.m. session for those of you who struggle to do the daytimes or you're trying to get kids down to sleep. So we've got that session coming up. It's quite unnerving how quiet this Thermomix is. I keep turning around, like James said, to check it's even on. I've still got 8 minutes to cook, but I can't hear it at all, and I'm standing right beside it.
I have just coated my chicken that was coated in our corn flour. It's now just mixed in with a bit of egg and some milk. And then I'm just actually frying that off. So that's what's actually loud in my house at the moment. You can hear the sizzle. It's not the Thermomix sizzle. It's nice and quiet. It's the fry pan going. So that's why I'm turning back and forth to a stew.
It'd be a foreign thing to use a fry pan in my house. If I step to the side, you can actually see my stovetop has a cover with a Thermomix sitting on top of it, which shows you just how rarely I use my stovetop these days. Once you've got a Thermomix, it just becomes an absolute way of life. Yes, Marie, it is a bit of a insanity situation to be in, but that is what it is. For those of you who would love to get up close and personal with a TM7, obviously reach out to your consultant. They are more than happy to come and do an in-home cooking experience with you where you've got you and 2 friends and you can qualify for host rewards. Or if you're just wanting a one-on-one experience, they would also quite happily pop out and do that for you. But if you want to see more cooking and more class inspiration, we have got the very exciting new release of the Thermomix Everyday magazine coming up in just a wee little bit. It goes for sale on the 26th of June. And it's going
I was going to say, can we do a sneak peek?
a little like that. We sure can do a sneak peek. The cover is a beautiful pierogi recipe, and it's low waste.
And Georgia, I'd love to see when we make this what you think of it and how traditional they are. I'm looking forward to it.
Maybe I should invite myself along to that and see if I can't get some tips. There are lots of fabulous recipes in here. We're having a launch party event on Friday, the 4th of July. It's an evening from 7 till 9 at the Barina Bowling Club in Newtown. The registration link for that, if you can't find it in Eventbrite under our team, just reach out to your consultant and they'll make sure you get the link so you can book in and come to that. They're fabulous in there. They normally always open the bar for us so you can have a little beverage. But we will have some giveaways on the night. There'll be magazines for sale. There will be lots of food to sample. And you'll get to see us whipping up some of the things from this amazing magazine. Lots of different techniques and things like that that are demonstrated as well within the recipes. So these are little individual chicken Wellingtons. So there is always lots of great tips and things to be had from accessing the magazines as well. Comes out twice a year. Has anyone got one of the magazines in the past or the past issues?
No, and Anna was there for our launch for Summer Magazine.
Anna was in the waiting room a minute ago, but she might have had some tech issues because I let her in and then she's bounced out again. So I'm not sure.
I think she's probably juggling kids too.
Oh, there she is.
There she is.
I'm trying to put people to bed at the same time. So
that's right. Stay on mute and do whatever you need to.
But yeah, so our launch parties and our in-person classes are normally a pretty fantastic way to get some extra inspiration and to catch up with other people, talk Thermomix and go, what have you been making? Because we all cook different things, even if we feel like we're cooking the same things on repeat all the time. So it's a great way to get some added inspiration. Marie, Jane's already got you a coffee. That's fantastic. Been having a nice flick through?
Well, I think that's the summer one, Marie, too. There's the ice cream cake on the front. I reckon that's that one.
Have you thought of anything that you might want to make out of that, Marie? Other than that beautiful lemon meringue ice cream cake, which is to die for, keeps fabulously in the freezer, even with the Swiss meringue on the top.
And has a gluten-free base. You can just start out in your gluten-free flour for the base too.
Yeah.
So that it covers everything.
Yeah, fantastic. Lil, do you have any of the Thermi magazines? Not sure if you have one or not, but or whether you're across those being there. So there's obviously always lots of...
A bit slow on the unmute button, sorry.
That's all right, no judgment.
No, I've been like everywhere over the phone. No, I was actually just trying to get online and buy some while you were talking about it.
Fantastic. Perk of being a consultant, you can get them at a discount.
There you go, Sam.
You can also get a Thermomix at a discount or potentially free by investing a bit of your time, Sam. So maybe that's some information you needed to hear. We'll see. Neha, same. I don't think you've got a Thermomix either on your registration link. So if you would like to know more info about joining the team and trying to get yourself a Thermomix discounted or free, absolutely reach out to your consultant to find out a little bit more. I'm sure Leanne would love to help you out with any of that.
Yes. Thanks.
Yes.
Yeah.
What did you think of this or that?
I don't have one and I'm looking into it, so we'll see.
Yeah. And you've got to have a look and see if it's something that suits. That's why the classes and these sorts of things, whether they're in person or online, are fabulous, because you don't need to have a Thermomix to attend any of these events. It's a great opportunity for you to get your hands on it, have a look. So they're really good for those sort of opportunities. So to see if it'll make what you like. But, you know, anything from dips, spreads, all of your doughs. We do all of our roti wraps, all of our brioches, all our cinnamon scrolls, all our pizza doughs. Like the kneading on the Thermomix is absolutely next level. Lil would be able to tell you, I'm sure, an amazing fact about how many hand turns it is for a Thermomix, but it's not a figure I can ever retain in my head, but it is an absolutely insane amount, and it will do it for you. Or you go do something else, whether that's putting the flour back in the pantry or sitting down to have a cup of tea. It's completely within your control. All of your ice creams, all of your pastes, so all of our chutneys and curry pastes and all of our spice mixes, just milling down. You know, for our surprise dish, I have got that's just cinnamon that, you know, you mill yourself in the Thermomix. So all of those things, you just cease buying them as a pre-made product. It's normally cheaper to buy whole foods, get rid of the additives and the preservatives, and make things yourself fresh from scratch. How your recipe going over there, Jane?
I am, sorry, I'm coming back in. I am also not the best at always using my stovetop, so I'm just cooking off a chicken. I've got 3 minutes left for our veggies steaming. So you can have a little sneak peek in there. I'm nearly done. I've got the last bit of chicken just cooking.
So I'm just going to show mine. Let me see if I can just tip this camera down a little bit to give you a bit of a look. We've got our bacon, mushrooms, tomatoes, everything in there is bubbling away nicely. So we're moving on to the next step, which is to actually add our spaghetti. So I've just got 300 grams of spaghetti here. I'm an absolute mess when it comes to eating spaghetti, so I always break mine in half. If you don't, you just use your spatula as it cooks and you slowly help it down into your warm sauce. But I just break mine in half. Whee! There goes half already. Right. So
Lil just put up, Sarah, that you'd be shot in Italy if you're breaking your pasta.
Oh, and then I have to come off mute. I'm going, no.
Oh,
That's why they make the little ones. I know.
I have it everywhere. I'm like a sauce fest. It's just a little bit insane.
It makes it easier for little people too.
Little people, yeah.
So literally, I'm just going to coat it all in a little bit of the sauce because it is still sitting up a little bit, and that will help it go along. So that's in. Next. So now we're going to cook this for 3 minutes without the lid. So I've just pressed play. It's now cooking and we have no lid on the Thermomix. And I have lots of little dried pasta bits all over my floor, Lil, so you'd be even more squirming in your seat knowing that. But it's cooking. And also, this is a guide. You can do whatever you like. And I love that the lid's off because now I'm going to add the olives that it doesn't ask for in the recipe, but I really like in this recipe. So in they go. Give them a bit of a poke down. I'll be right. So that's cooking for 3 minutes. How's your chicken going, Jane?
My chicken is sizzling away. My veggies are just about done. So I was just going to get my thermoserve ready.
Marie,
I just knocked over all the rest of
splatter.
them. Sorry?
Marie asks, does it splatter? No, this recipe does not. If you were going outside markedly, obviously, of the recipe, then yes, you potentially could have some. But if you're sticking to the recipe, you're fine. A little container of olives isn't going to do me any harm. It'll be fine. So all good. Back to you, Jane.
Okay, you must have heard my little done music. So we are now putting the veggies aside. So just notice when you're taking your lid off your varoma, unless you want a facial, just open it away from yourself so you're not steaming yourself. And always use your lid just as your tray to catch all your drips. So hopefully, although it's nice and steamy, there are my veggies. We're going to just put them into thermoserve. And I'm just going to take the simmering basket out as well. So I've just got our oval thermoserve. And I am really sorry to say, people, but I'm not functioning 100% today. But normally, round thermoserve is always one of our host rewards. I can't remember whether the oval is still on at the moment. I think it is a host reward, but it's actually out of stock in the mixture. But you can still select it as one of your host rewards and it will get delivered to you afterwards. It's just a different way of presenting your food. It's a 2.2 litre one, and I love my thermoserves because they keep everything hot or cold. So if you're coming in at different stages, or if your meal's cooking in different stages like this, it's just a great option. You'll see that I'm utilising a couple of different ones tonight. So they're just our veggies. I forgot to mention at the start, this is one of the scaled recipes that Sarah can show you how to do on Cookie Do, and I'll show you at the top. But I've actually chosen to just cook this for 4 people tonight. There's also a portion to do for 6. One of the things we do love about Cookie Do, a lot of them are scaled up or down. So if you're a household of 2 or if you're a household of 4 or 6, you can actually make the portions that you want to. I will put my rice in. Okay. I need to just tip out my water. With that, 2 seconds.
So while I'm tipping out her water, my recipe had finished the 3 minutes for the open lid cooking, and now it is cooking the pasta with the lid on. So it's got a nice rolling boil going in there. I've just set the time because you cook the time depending on the pasta that you're using. So my packet said 8 minutes. That's what I've put on. Once you've set the time, then your green play button will pop up once your lid is on. This recipe also is using underspeed too. So if now was when I remembered that I wanted to pop those olives in, while it's cooking, I can actually remove the lid. The Thermomix will automatically stop. You could add your ingredients. If you can see on the screen, it is actually indicating to me to put the lid back on. So we will do that. It then registers that the lid is there and it automatically turns itself back on. So it is very, very clever. It's fantastic feature of the new TM7. So it's definitely something that is worth taking advantage of if you're like me and you're forgetting to put ingredients in even though you've got a checklist because it wasn't on the checklist. So yeah, useful. Jane.
Okay, so we have emptied our rice. As I said, it was 4 portions of rice, so it was 200 grams, and that is chock-a-block full in my 1 litre thermoserve. We've got our veggies out there. I've emptied my bowl. What I'm going to do is actually make our sauce now. So I've got 70 grams of raw sugar, and as Sarah mentioned at the start, it actually, on the TM7, will tick off your ingredients when you're in that right zone. I've got some apple cider vinegar. I've got some tomato sauce, and Sarah and I both are avid makers of sauce in our household. I love just putting it into these squeezy bottles from the mix shop, because then the kids get it out just as easily, stores well, and it looks the same as everything else. I've got some pineapple juice, and I've actually added the lime juice in with this as well, so it will change on my scales and go over a little bit. That's just from the tin pineapple, because we're using some pineapple in the recipe from later. I've got some soy sauce. Obviously, if you've got some different dietary requirements, you can swap this out so that you can make the rest of this gluten-free. I think the corn flour is gluten-free, isn't it? Yeah, I've got a knot in the corner.
Buy a 100% corn flour.
Yeah. So we've got those sauce ingredients in. We are going to put our lid back on. You'll notice in our TM7, we don't have the big hole in there anymore, but you can still pour your sauces and things. There's some areas on the side, so even with the cap on, if you're emulsifying anything, it goes in there. Lid's on. It's automatically set everything because we're on guided cooking, which is perfect for nights like this for me, when I'm just needing that bit of extra assistance and not thinking. Now, my chicken is pretty much cooked on the side. It's telling me now to get this all ready, but we did it already. And I'm cooking for 10 minutes. So Sarah, I'm just going to throw over to you. And I need to remember to turn things on the stove. I'm so used to my Thermomix where I can walk away and it's not going to burn anything on me.
Yeah, it's definitely a habit that is very easy to break cooking on the stove. Once you start cooking in the Thermomix and you are learning the set and forget method, even if you are coming back a couple of times to do little steps like popping in your pasta or what have you, you'd be surprised how used to you get not actually having to stand at your stove and stir anymore. Things like risottos are done start to finish in 20 minutes. So definitely a change from the 45 minutes at the stove with your boiling stock and your constant stirring of your risotto pot at the same time. So it's definitely a whole different way of thinking about your cooking. But it's also a really inspirational way to cook, because you find you've got all this spare time to find all these other things that you want to cook and eat. So yeah, it's good from that perspective.
What you'll notice with the TM7 too is that you should be able to start seeing some reflections on my bowl. Hopefully I'll come in closer. So it's going red now to show that it is actually hot. Like we said, you're not going to get that from touching the bowl because it's all insulated and safe now, but you've still got that safety of the red light going on there. And you've still got your temperature up the top so that you know what temperature you're at and your time and everything there. And then we can still scroll through and check what we're up to next, which is just getting this chicken done. I better take it off.
The great thing about being able to scroll on such a supersized screen now also is that while it is doing a cook section, you can use your back arrow, go back through to cookie do itself. You might be just doing a little 3-minute or 5-minute saute of your aromats, onion, garlic, etc. And you think, oh, where am I going anyway? May as well stay in the kitchen. Well, you may as well jump on and search for another recipe to have a look at, cook, meal plan, add to your week, your meal plan, your shopping list, etc. So you can also go through, search for other recipes and actually add things into your planner and your shopping list, bookmark them as a favourite while your Thermomix is actually cooking. So it's a really big, beautiful screen in order to do that on. So it's all very user-friendly. It's also very useful to be just like hand. So it's scrolling exactly the same as you would if you were on your phone. So it's just a matter of...
Not sure if you can see mine up there.
What have you got?
No, probably, I was just going to say, I just brought up my meal planner for the week. Or not quite a week. They don't put a whole week in the screen for you, which is actually really nice because it's all very clear. And like Sarah said, you're actually just scrolling up now to see all your different things.
And there are 3 ways you can actually personalize your home screen. So you could have daily inspiration, and every time you turn your Thermomix on, you've actually got a different view of recipes and inspiration and things that are based around similar dishes to what you have been liking, saving, making. So it's a really good way to get inspiration. You can also choose to have your screen set with just your manual modes up. So if you like to just freewheel with the Thermomix and just throw in your ingredients and whip up dishes of your own creations, you can access those from your home screen the minute you turn your Thermomix on. Or Jane and myself obviously have the same type of cooking preference. I like to see my week plus a couple of my favourite modes.
What are
So
your favourites, Sarah? What's on your top 4
my top 4 of my favourites,
on your
well, I've
screen?
got the tutorials up because it's useful cooking experiences to show new people
Oh,
and existing customers who have purchased a TM7 already where to access some support on their Thermomix. But of course, it's the kettle and the blend mode, because if I'm not making a cuppa or a coffee and then frothing up my milk for my coffee or hot chocolate, or making myself a cup of tea using the kettle, am I even using my Thermomix? They are definitely some of my most used features, and the pre-clean function is there as well. So they are very useful for that.
I think I have to say snapped for the pre-clean in our household, but we also have the manual mode as our shortcut. So that for those of us that are used to freewheeling in a household, we also have the turbo because it gets used a lot in our house to flick off that last little bit of muffin mix or cookie dough or dough that we've needed, or just that extra bit of food so that we're not wasting that. And then we've got our link to our recipes so that we can find all of those things that we've already put into collections for us.
And if you want a bigger view of your weekly planner, because you're wanting that broader overview of it, instead of just the next couple of recipes that you're cooking, just to the right above them, there is a show all button. And when you press that, your whole planner system comes up. So it's really useful for that aspect. So now we have got our dinner and it is completely cooked. So I am literally just going to get that out of the Thermomix without trying to splatter that across all of my bench. I find it's useful to use your spatula to slow down the speed of the ingredients coming out. You'll notice the spatula has also had a makeover. There's no longer a collar around the spatula.
Oh, my conversation.
Hey.
I was just going to say, who's noticed the new shape? One of the things, as Sarah said, there's no collar anymore because you're not actually putting your spatula down through your lid. But one of those things that's amazing about the shape is it really gets around your bowl really nice. And you can see how clean Sarah's bowl is already just from scooping all of that out. And you're not having to dig in around your blades. It gets in really nicely. It's still got that silicone base, so it's soft. And you're obviously not then doing anything to your Thermomix bowl. Oh, it looks amazing.
So there is a very economical dish to have for dinner that would easily feed a family of 4, 6 if you had a little pizza bianca or something like that on the go as well with it. I'm just going to rinse my bowl so then I can potentially show you our mystery dish. So I'm just going to mute myself for a second, Jane, while you carry on.
What did everyone mix tonight for dinner? Has anyone made anything, or has everyone had leftovers? I'm getting hungry, so I need some other ideas at the moment while I'm not eating. Okay, we've got 2 minutes left on mine. Lasagna. Oh, nice. I think I missed another one coming up. You can see the steam coming out from mine now because we are on 120 degrees. I am just going to get the rest of my sauce ingredients ready. I've got another little bit of corn flour, which I'm just adding some water to mix that up. What I wanted to show was when you are in your home screen for your recipes, let's go into this one. you get all of your overview at the start still. You'll have your list of ingredients, any of the Thermomixes that it's compatible with, any of the useful items and things that you might need. So thermoserves for me, I needed the frying pan, things like that. What country are your recipes actually from? It gives you all your steps that you need to do it. What I love, it also has a tip section, but it also has a My Notes section. So you can add things that you tweak. So if you're doing it to change things for dietary requirements or subbing something in that someone likes in the household and doesn't, and you want other people in your household to remember that, you can add that to your notes section and have that there. It all gives you your nutritional content if that's something that you need to break down for you. And I love that it also shows you the collection that it's saved in, so that if it's a food that you're enjoying and you want to explore more of, you can go straight into that collection and save that or see what else is there for you to do as well. To get back to my Thermomix to see which we're up to, it's just in the scroll. They call it the cooking centre, I think, and Sarah will give me a nod or a shake in a second. Apologies, I'm still getting 100%. I'm a learner still in finding out all my right terminology. So the cooking centre, you push just up the top. You can go back to your Thermomix. You can also bring up your scales if you need to, and it gives you a quick bit to go back into your pre-clean mode and things as well. This is about to be done, so we'll hear the little do-do-do-do. I am just going to mix up that corn flour. Sorry, I'll just get a teaspoon. So we've already got our rice, we've got our chicken, we've got our veggies. I've just got a little bit of corn flour and water in here to add to our sauce. Just going to give you, sauces don't look fantastic, but you can just, if you could smell it, it would be even better. So got that ready. We're going to just add the corn flour in. Then I'm going to add all our veggies back from our thermoserve. This is a great one. Instead of paying a fortune to go and get takeaway, you can whip this up, and it's got some beautiful flavours. And as I said, you feel like you're eating a rainbow with all the beautiful colours in there as well. So our veggies are in. And our cornflour's in. I'm going to put some pineapple in. And I do just use canned pineapple because it's not seasoned for anything else. So I've just got some pineapple there. We use the juice from that tin before in our sauce. Just wants us to mix it with our spatula just to get everything through that beautiful sauce. And then we are going to heat that up for another couple of minutes before we get to add our beautiful chicken.
Righto, so if you're going for a little bit, maybe we might have a spare minute and we can crack on with our mystery dish. Everyone we know is getting sick at the minute. One way to ward off all of those things is to make the cold and flu tea bombs. So we're going to press start on that. And I'm going to start choking on thin air while we're at it. So 30 grams of water in. Doing jinxing myself at the minute. Excuse me. Give me 2 seconds while Jane's talking away and she's on mute, and I'm in the background swilling water and I'm on mute. So
sorry, I was just catching up on the chat. I'm getting excited by everyone's dinner.
Oh, chicken soup, yum.
Using and then sticky
Big
dough.
day pudding.
Always a winner. Makes so
Can't
many.
go wrong with that caramel sauce. Righto, so we've got 2 lemons that I have peeled and halved. We have got some apple cider vinegar. it wants 60 grams of ginger. If you cut your ginger into coins, so like that, you will find it's a lot easier, get a better chop from them, and it helps with all that fibre that is in these beautiful gingers. There's 60 grams of that there. It wants 6 cloves of garlic. Oh, look at those veggies.
Showing those veggies.
It wants 30 grams of turmeric. So quite a bit of turmeric, hence my weird yellow fingers. And then it wants a tablespoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and it's also half a teaspoon of black pepper. So they're all down there in the bottom of this. So we're going to pop the lid on, and this is going to use the blend mode. I use this for smoothies. I use this for juices. I use this to froth my hot chocolates and my coffees. So the blend mode will also obviously make pastes and things like that. So very useful. Press play.
I was just trying to come in. So my next step, I've added my chicken as well, and it actually just wants us to let it, and I've folded it in with the spatula, it wants it to let us sit for 5 minutes in the Thermomix bowl. So what I've done is gone back up to that cooking center, pulled my timer up, and actually set my timer on my Thermomix. So again, we would normally walk away. It's a great thing to have, so then you can actually hear. Your Thermomix will keep doing the other steps if independent of your timer. And you can go back into that recipe when you need to. But we're just about ready. I'm going to get a bowl so that I can get ready to serve it up.
So this recipe has made myself a bit of a mixture. It wants you to strain it through a fine sieve. So literally, I'm just going to pour that into a strainer that I have sitting over the top of another Thermomix bowl. It pays to have two. I don't actually have a jug of another description that I could use instead. You could put it over a Tupperware container or whatever it is you've got to balance your sieve over. And then literally, I'm just going to use the spatula to push this liquid through the sieve and to leave the fibrous behind from my garlic, ginger, the seeds from your lemons, etc. So bear with me while I do this, Jane.
Sorry, my voice is nearly going. Apologies, everyone. This is the first day I've had a voice for the week. I have an extra 2 minutes on mine. I've got my rice in the back ready to go. And because it's been one of those weeks, I'm probably struggling a little bit for my next thoughts. I got distracted by the fact that Sarah's got ice cream ready to go in the chat and hasn't made the cake yet. And Sam definitely crack on and do it. Anna made the ice cream cake for Christmas. We were talking about the summer magazine for those of them that weren't on. And I loved the winter one because low waste for me is a great way to also save money. One of the things we love about using Cookie-Doo is you can actually then add all your recipes to your shopping list and things and send that out to your families as well. Great way to save money and make sure that you're only buying what you need to. You can sub in for what you need from a dietary point of view. And so it's quite handy from that point of view. This is the hard part, the waiting now. As I said, this is a serve 4 one, but you can increase that in your scaled recipes up to 6, and much better than going and getting takeaway on a Friday night or any other night of the week. This one's gone back and forth a little bit, but lots of time for you to be able to leave kitchen because it's safe. Sorry, Sarah, I can see you're jumping on.
It's hard to tip this up without tipping it out. So what I have in here is a really beautiful flavour bomb that will absolutely keep the nasties at bay. So the recipe continues on to tell you what to do with this. So you actually pour this into your ice cube molds, which I'll need to get some emptied out from the freezer. Then you literally freeze it. Once they're firm, you then go through and you put it back. So pop an ice cube into your Thermomix bowl, then you just literally add some water, and then you can add honey, maple syrup, anything like that if you want, or you can leave that out and just have the Flue Bomb ice cube on its own with some water, and then you are using your heating mode to then turn around and warm it up. So you're using your warm up, and then that brings it up to 90 degrees. And you have yourself the most beautiful, it's a really earthy, hearty flavour, because of course you've got that beautiful garlic and your ginger and your turmeric, but with the lemon and the garlic as well, it gives you a nice kick. Also that cayenne kicks in. So you can then turn around and have this beautiful warming tea's not, I don't know the word, but a beautiful warming broth that is beautiful for keeping all the nasties at bay at this time of year. So I've literally got to hunt myself down some empty ice cube trays so I can pour this out. I normally have it on hand, and it was only the other week when all of our team started getting sick that I went to my freezer and went, I'm out. So I need to make some more. Thought this was a perfect opportunity to jump on and show it because it's such a quick and easy recipe, and it's a great money saver. You go to the supermarket and you can buy lem sips and those sorts of things, but there are temp fix once you're unwell. This is a great way to keep those things at bay completely, so you don't need any of those other things instead. My word, Jane, how much food are you tipping out?
No, that's why I said this is only for 4. I find it a very generous one, and beautiful and fresh. I'm just going to get those last veggies out. I'm sorry, I just don't have the coordination tonight to not be side on backwards. My apologies. I also don't want to spill any of that beautiful sauce, and it smells divine in here.
For everyone who's attended, we will actually also shoot through the recipes to you as well. So if you were registered, if you weren't, get your consultant to reach out and we'll make sure that you get your hands on the recipes from tonight. We also do load the recording from the class to YouTube. So give us a day or two and it'll pop up there. So if there's something that you want to rewatch, go right ahead. But I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for coming along and having a look. As I said, if you don't own and you've got questions, please reach out to your consultant. They would love to help you. Reminder again, we've got a couple more sessions coming up. 2 cookie do sessions on Monday the 23rd and Monday the 30th, so a daytime and an evening session. And we have our amazing launch party of our Thermomix magazine. So if you want to come along, have an in-person event, enjoy a beverage and some bites to eat, and meet some more of the team in person, absolutely jump along and do that. So Jane, give us a look.
Okay, so this is just a serving taken out for us so that I can hold up. You see all those beautiful colours in our veggies. They're still beautiful and soft. My zucchini probably could have been a little bit thicker, but yeah, it was quick and easy. And then I still have all of this left in my oval thermoserve.
And that's just the chicken sweet and sour with no rice.
That's with no rice. I left my rice separate because most of our households already had dinner tonight. So our rice is just in the 1 litre one. So that I've taken one portion out. Still looks pretty full though.
Yep, you definitely have enough rice to go with all that sweet and sour chicken.
Yes.
So, thank you everyone for coming along. Oh, I've got 2.2 litres of pasta and there's just me in the house at the minute. So I can see a lot of lunches being reheated here for me in the future. Anyone got any questions before we finish up the class?
Jump off mute.
Thanks, guys. It was great. Loved it.
Yeah.
That's all right.
I'll definitely attend the cookie do session on Monday, hopefully. I'll look it up.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's all under Team Elevate on Eventbrite, Marie. So if you just
Yep.
jump in to where you were before, you'll find us again. And then you can also follow us on Eventbrite. And then every time we load a class, you will get an email notification for that as well.
Great. I
Very
really
handy.
enjoyed it. It's been great. Thank you.
Fabulous.
And you can do as many cookie do sessions as people like. It's not a one-time
Yep.
offer. It's a great thing to keep coming back and learning new tips and tricks.
Okay.
Updating it and going, but wait, there's more. So yeah, lots of great things to find out on Cookie Do.
Thank
Hopefully
you.
some of you there in the future. Thanks for coming.
No worries.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.